And we are live. Welcome to my Friday live stream. I am Chris. Thank you for checking it out. I had to move a few things around to make this happen, but that's how I do things. I move things around to make this happen. So welcome. Got my favorite band's shirt on. It is miserable out. It's been cloudy and rainy for like 4 days in Washington. Come on, man. Let's get on to it. We got a lot of questions, so I will get to them again. I will go as long as an hour if there are questions coming in. If there are not, what can I do? So in the meantime, make sure if you have not subscribed to my channel on YouTube, do it. And I'm going to put links to my newsletters, my politics and my sports newsletters. I'll put those in the chat. And then, yeah, it'd be great if you could support me. Okay, here we go. Sam 2, not Sam 1. Sam 2. Who will win Game 7 of the Timberwolves Nuggets series? The Nuggets will. Home game. They've been champs before. They have the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. So they're going to win. I feel confident about that. By the way, okay, my mic is working. Okay, thank you. I always like to check on that. Pool Boy Dave. Hi, Chris. Would you recommend young people to be parents? It seems like your life is often taken up by being sick from your kids or taking them to games. Yes, you absolutely should be a parent. It's the best thing in the world. It's also the most challenging thing in the world. I remember when I got married, a lot of people, I was like 24. A lot of people were like, oh man, your life's really going to change. And really and truly, it didn't change all that much. I mean, my wife and I moved in together and it was a little bit different, but it wasn't that big a change. No one tells you accurately how big your life's going to change when you have kids. No one. Like it was totally, there's a human who's dependent on you. But yes, it's the best. Yes, your kids do make you sick. They do get you sick because they're little germ incubators. Yes, I do drive them lots of places, but I like driving them lots of places. I don't mind it. I get to talk to them. I get to hang out with them. You just want to be, when you're a parent, you just want to be with your kids, particularly as they start to get older. You just kind of want to hang out with them. Even if you're not doing much with them, you just like being with them. So yes, have children. It's wonderful. Let's see. The real Slim Shady 3000. Chris Wallace did a terrible job in 2020 with the debates. Why would Tapper Bash do better in June? You know, I guess I don't totally agree with that, right? Like, why did he do a terrible job? Like, please respond in the comments and I'll try to find it and do it. Like, it's really hard to moderate a debate with Donald Trump. Like, he talks over you. He interrupts. He breaks the rules. He lies. Like, you can do a lot there, but I think people who want to be like, shut his mic off, don't ever let him talk. Like, he's one of the two candidates for president. You can't not let him talk. The public is going to vote on him, right? So you need to hear from him at some level, but you also need to make sure Biden or whoever else is on the other side of that podium gets their fair share of talking in. It's just a really hard job. I just like, I have not seen anyone moderate a debate with Donald Trump where I was like, oh yeah, like they really kept him in line. I don't know how you do that. Genuinely, like you can try. I think you got to try to hold him to account. I think you got to try to stick to the rules. I think you got to fact check him, but he's still going to try to run roughshod over you no matter what, and probably run roughshod over you no matter what, because you're not going to interrupt him every second that he talks. So anyway, I didn't think Chris Wallace I mean, I don't think Chris Wallace was amazing, but I also don't think he was bad. Like, I just think it's hard. It's just hard. Sherry Zimmerman, any thoughts or predictions on the outcome of the trial of the former president? So I do a mailbag post over at my political Substack, which is called So What, every Friday. And somebody asked me that question. And I gave them my non-lawyer educated guess, which is that he's found not guilty. Not because I don't think he made the payment. I think he clearly did, and they tried to cover it up a little bit. I just don't know if Michael Cohen, who's like the critical witness in all of this, is reliable. Like, I like jurors see him as reliable. I'm skeptical that that's the case because he's not super reliable. So I'm guessing not guilty, but even if it is guilty, don't think it's going to change anything because it's not going to change anything. Okay. Let's see. Politics nerd. Hi, Chris. Happy Friday. Did you see the fight between Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC? What are your thoughts? Yes, it was really a three-way fight between Marjorie Taylor Greene, AOC, and Jasmine Crockett from Texas. So it was on the House Oversight Committee. It was actually last night, late. Why they were having that meeting late, who knows? But actually, that's not true. I do know. They postponed the meeting till 8 p.m. so that the House members who went up to be supportive of Donald Trump could go up and be supportive of Donald Trump at his trial and then come back and do their actual job. Ridiculous. Okay. Anyway, yes, I did see it. No, I don't think it looks good on anyone's part. I know people hate Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's fine, but like the name calling stuff, which she started by saying Jasmine Crockett had fake eyelashes. Like, yeah, I mean, that's what she does. Again, I'm not a big believer in sinking down to that level. I'm just not. The whole, like, as it relates to Trump, the whole, like, you got to try to embarrass him and you got to get down on his level. I just don't buy that. I've not seen no evidence that works. And I don't think you're going to embarrass Marjorie Taylor Greene. I just don't. Maybe it feels good to say, like, what did Jasmine Crockett say? She said, I've got it somewhere here. Hold on. She said, beach blonde, bad built, butch body. That's what she said to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, yeah, I get it. Right. Probably made you feel good in the moment. But Marjorie Taylor Greene said she had fake eyelashes. I mean, really? This is where we're at? I guess this is where we're at. Okay. Let's see. Electric Mouse. Hey, Chris, Keith Olbermann just dropped the diss track response. So I've heard, I haven't seen, but I've heard that Keith said something about me today. I'm guessing it was because I defended Maggie Haberman, my friend and a great reporter, against this idea that she's somehow in the bag for Trump. Has anyone read her coverage? Has anyone read Con Man, her best-selling book? Like, I just don't understand. Like, she's not in the bag for Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form, or Michael Cohen. But I would guess that is what Keith has latched onto. If you know what Keith has latched onto and is attacking me for, put it in the comment section. I'll check it out. And as for a diss track, no, I don't respond to that. Keith is Keith, man. He hates me. I don't know. I don't hate him. He's fine. I think he's a genius at television. He's amazing at television. Amazing. That's why he's gotten so many chances despite his behavior. Okay. Saliza fan, great name, really important YouTube handle. Hi, Chris. I know this may not be your experience, but why do you think people in DC proper are so neurotic, high strung, etc.? I can't find anyone easygoing here. No, it's a bunch of type A's. It's like everybody comes here. Not everybody. Like I'm sure there are easygoing people who live in Washington, but I would say the average person comes here because they are ambitious. Probably in politics or political journalism or, something politics adjacent in some way. They want to climb the ladder. They went to really fancy schools because they're ambitious. So that tends to be the kind of person who populates this town. It's a bunch of climbers. I ponder moving to Northern California sometimes. Yes, I do. It's a totally different. West Coast is just a totally different vibe. A lot more people don't take things as seriously. Work is not so central to kind of like everyone's identity out there. It's more about what you sort of enjoy doing as opposed to what you do for work. But yeah, it's a hard city to live in. And I worry, by the way, of it. It's a hard city to get your kids educated and have them grow up in. A lot of money, a lot of ambition, a lot of transactional people. Definitely all of those things are true. Okay. Tara Reid. Not that Tara Reid. Chris, what 3 cities in America would you never want to live in? Honest answers only. Okay. New Hampshire. Generally, people are rude. People just are not nice. New Hampshire. I don't know if I could live in North Dakota because of the weather. It's too cold. And where else would I not want to live? I like most places. Houston, too hot, too overcrowded. Can't do it. That was weird. Am I still on? You guys still got me? Okay, I think we're still on. That was weird. I lost power for a second there. That was strange. Can you still hear me? Okay, weird. That was weird. I lost power at my house for a second, but everything is fine. Let's see. Back to it. John C. Historically, ticket splitting is down or non-existent. However, Dems lead in most Why does that keep happening? Is there a light issue in my house? My overhead lights may be going off. I don't know what the hell is going on. We'll continue to power through. Ticket splitting is down, non-existent. However, Dems lead in most Senate polls, and Biden is down to Trump in polling in those states. Why? Ticket splitting coming back, issue in the polls. I don't think it's an issue in the polls. I think it's an issue with Biden. I think people just want change, and he's not change at the presidential level. That's why I thought when Democrats and liberals were sort of bad-mouthing the polling, the New York Times Siena poll that came out on Monday, I was like, so do you think the numbers in the Senate race that poll produced are wrong too? Because it showed Democrats winning in all those Senate races. So I think that the presidential race is distinct, right? It's its own thing always, but especially now when you have Biden and Trump, a former president and a current president, both totally known, both neither of which are terribly well liked. Like, I think that that's a separate race, and I do think Biden has trouble. I mean, I think that those numbers show Joe Biden is losing states that the Democratic Senate nominee is winning, which the Democratic Senate nominee, just assume that's like the baseline Democratic vote. The presidential race is sort of its own entity, and Biden's losing there. That suggests that Biden has problems, or Trump is doing great. I tend to think it's Biden has problems, but good question. Anubov C, if you were moderating the debate, what would your opening question to the candidates be? So for Trump, I would say, can you now say today that the 2020 election was free and fair and you lost? And he will say no. And then you will say, well, you lost all but one lawsuit about the 2020 election, and every independent analysis has found that the election was free and fair. And just note that and then move on. But you need to get that on the record. For Biden, I think I would ask something about economics. I would say, you talk a lot. He was asked by Erin Burnett and CNN when she interviewed him last week. He was asked, like, why do people not feel that the economy is getting better, even though there are some signs that the economy is getting better? And she said, sorry, I'm getting weird internet electricity things. And he said, oh, it's the polling. You can't believe the polling. That's not a good economic message. The polling? What? Like, why, what can you tell people who are paying more for their groceries or paying more for their gas or paying more for their whatever on an everyday basis? How can you tell them that things are getting better? What's out there for them to believe that things are getting better? That's what I would ask Biden, and just see what he said. Okay. Let's see. Sean, what do you expect the major themes of the debate questions to be in June? I mean, it's not that complicated. There will be a question or two about democracy in the elections that Trump will, as I said, not answer, but you need to get him on the record. The economy, state of it. Is it good? Is it bad? Why is it, etc.? Excuse me, too much carbonated water. Immigration. Why do we have the situation we have at the border? What has Biden done to fix it? Why hasn't it worked, or has it worked? Foreign policy. Ukraine and Russia, Israel and Hamas. What should the U.S. role be? Should we continue funding it? Should we not continue funding it? Trying to think if there's anything else that will be big there. I think those are the sort of like the big buckets that the questions should and will probably fall into. Obviously, I think it's a 2-hour debate, so they're going to ask a bunch of different stuff, but I think those are the big topics they'll try to hit. Let's see. Sam, number 1. Hi, Chris. Hope everyone is feeling better. They are. Everybody's good. And I think I'm almost back to normal. Can you talk about polling and what makes it so expensive? What do pollsters spend money on? How much would a poll like the New York Times Siena one cost? So it's pollsters hire it's basically like a big room where people sit. It's a phone bank. People sit and make the calls. You got to hire those people, and then you got to pay them for their time. And the truth is, it's hard to get people either on a cell phone or on a regular phone. So you got to make a lot of calls. So that takes time. You got to write the questionnaire. You got to make sure the questionnaire is good. I would say $100,000, $75,000 to $100,000 for a poll, a national poll. Don't know how much a single state poll costs. A little bit less, 50, 45, 50 is my guess. Phil answers Sam's question. Paying callers Number one. Two, volume of calls is 10 times the number of people that respond. That's right. Cost to research individuals to make sure they represent the demographics you're looking for, and then the questions themselves. That's great. That is, I think that's really good, Phil. Ideal idol. If Trump is unable to be the candidate for the Republicans due to health or legal issues, who will they pick? Well, legal issues isn't going to be a thing. Just not. Even if he's convicted, he can run. Health issues. So this is true of Biden or Trump. So if it happens before the convention, so before July 15th for Republicans and before like beginning of August for Democrats, the delegates at the convention will pick. Several candidates will sort of nominate themselves or be nominated, and the delegates will pick, which is how we, by the way, pick nominees for a very long time. It's only in the sort of the modern last 30 or 40 years where it's been like, we already know who the nominee is going to be going into the convention, and the convention delegate vote is just kind of a formulaic thing. So that's how it would work pre-convention. Post-convention, the National Committee members, so either the Democratic National Committee or the Republican National Committee, combined with some number of party leaders, would pick the nominee if that person who had been nominated by the convention wasn't able to run and be a candidate. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Lucchese 20. Hi, Chris. Can you explain why Ohio is no longer considered to be a swing state? Thanks. Yeah. So it used to be even 2004, Ohio was a swing state. Why is it not anymore? Because education has become, among white people, education has become sort of the dividing line. So college educated or more, you're a Democrat. High school educated or less, you're a Republican. And that's, by the way, that's also broadly true, and these two things are correlated, but that's also broadly true with income levels. The higher your income, the more likely are Democrat these days. The lower your income, the more likely are you're a Republican. So there used to be like, guys who worked in manufacturing or worked in a factory or something like that who were Democratic voters. There's a lot of Republican voters among them now. Trump has sort of really, it was already changing, but Trump has really changed that. So in Ohio, the state is white, more white than anything else. There's a black population, obviously. There's a Hispanic population, obviously, but the white population is the largest. White voters are now more Republican voting than ever before. And so Ohio winds up being more of a Republican state. Does that make sense? Okay. Green Mountain Academy. How much do debates help or hurt a candidate? Seems like most people have made up their minds and are only tuning in to see if the opponent messes up. Pass the popcorn, please. Yeah, totally. I'm skeptical that debates change all that much. Look, we're talking about 4% of the public who's undecided in this race, right? So, I think why does Biden want to debate? He's behind right now. That's the major reason. And he thinks he can change it. So what would change? A good performance further gets the base behind you, right? Sort of energizes the base behind you. And his base is not as energized behind him as Trump's is behind him. And then, maybe marginally it reaches those 3 or 4% of people who are undecided. But yes, barring some huge mistake, which is probably not going to happen. I know people think that like Biden is going to be like totally out of it, or Trump is going to come off as insane. I just don't think it's unlikely the debates are going to have a massive impact outside of some like outsized event that happens that's never really happened in debates before, right? Could it happen? Sure. Right? It's a live event. Anything could happen, but I think it's unlikely. So yeah, I think mostly the debates probably don't move the needle a ton. Maybe they change the media coverage, make it a little bit more, Biden hopes make it a little more friendly to him, maybe, going forward. But no, they probably don't change all that much. They are entertaining though, and I am looking forward to them. Always first. Do you think they'll let RFK Jr. in the debates? He claims he's qualified, but ballot access, not polling, might prevent. Yeah, I don't think he's going to make the debates. In fact, I think that they, Biden and Trump, purposely went around the Commission on Presidential Debates, which has governed debates since 1987, so that he wouldn't make the debates. Because, like, we can debate RFK Jr. I think marginally at this point, he hurts Trump a little bit more than Biden. But I think both of them are like, we don't totally know how this RFK Jr. thing's going to work out. And we definitely do not want to take the risk. He's too much of a free radical. Don't give him a platform. So they're not giving him a platform. I guess I'd be very surprised if he qualified for the debate. I mean, who the hell knows? But I think I'd be surprised. Slam G. Hi, Chris. Hello. Right now, gun and secret reaction, feet to the fire. Who will win the 2024 election? Great question. Today, Trump would win. Election's not today. I'm going to say Biden narrowly. Because I think when the race focuses in, I think Biden wins that choice narrowly. But man, I could change tomorrow. It's really sort of a coin flip. I think. Sean Cooper, what's going down with Alito and the Stop the Steal thing? Okay, so if you've not seen this, I made a video about this morning on my Substack. Not here. If you've not seen this, so the New York Times reported last night or this morning, I think they posted it last night, that Samuel Alito, who, as you know, is a Supreme Court justice, had a American flag hanging upside down outside of his house right around the time that Joe Biden was being inaugurated in 2021. Now, the upside down flag has meant a lot of things over time, but in that period of time, it was a sort of sign of solidarity with the Stop the Steal movement, the idea that Trump had been robbed of an election victory in some way, shape, or form. And so, yeah, it's a little weird that Samuel Alito, who's a Supreme Court justice, had that flag hanging outside his house. Now, what he has said is, well, it was my wife who did it. And she did it because our neighbors had been very anti-Trump and had sort of accosted her. And so she did it in a fit of sort of passion and rage. Sorry, man. Doesn't work. You're a Supreme Court justice. Your wife is married to a Supreme Court justice. There are only 9 of them. The whole point is that you're supposed to not engage in politics in any way, shape, or form. That's the whole point. So, this is really bad. It sends such a terrible signal. And the reality is the Supreme Court, which was once one of the most trusted institutions in the country, is no longer. One of the reasons is because Clarence Thomas's wife, Virginia Thomas, Ginny, was emailing and texting with Mark Meadows, the White House chief of staff, about how Trump needed to contest the election. What? You're married to a Supreme Court justice. Sorry, you get a lot of great things because of that. And one of the things you don't get is the ability to engage in an attempt to overturn the 2020 election. So this just looks really bad. I don't care whether it was Alito's wife or Alito's cousin who was living there. He saw it. He knew it was hanging out there. You don't just walk into your house and be like, oh, I didn't notice that upside down flag. It's just bad all around. Bad, 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 bad. No one should defend this, right? The Supreme Court, in theory, has to be above doubt. That's that's how we give them the amount of power we give them. We entrust with them the ability to be the final word on the law of the land. You can't do this stuff. Bubba says, dance barefoot on Legos. I will not do that, though I am currently barefoot. Windward to Eden. For those of you who deeply do not like the presidential selections this term and both of the last 2 election cycles, what can we do between now and 2028 to get better candidates from both parties? Well, man, it's going to be a longer process in 2028. You got to change the political incentives. Right now, the political incentives are all in favor of saying the most ridiculous, outrageous, nasty thing about the other side, and that works. You can't have that. You have to find ways. And I think there's a couple ways. Ranked choice voting is a way that it can happen, right? So rather than just saying I vote for Crystalliza or I vote for this Polar Seltzer can, you can say, I rank Crystalliza 1, the Polar Seltzer can 2, and this coffee cup 3. And if Crystalliza is eliminated from the balloting, he doesn't get one of the top 2 most percent of the votes, they go to who I picked second. And then that person gets it. So they basically divvy the votes up. That, again, it encourages more people who are willing to reach out to a broader group of people. We need nonpartisan redistricting. We need congressional districts that are drawn in a way that to amplify competitiveness between the 2 parties, not make incumbents stronger. But these are structural changes we need to make, and it's not going to change anything by 2028. It's just not going to change anything. Pierre Robert or Robert. Will no audience in the debates help Trump or Biden? Marginally, maybe Biden. Look, this is a great thing that we don't have live audiences at the debates. On this hill, I will die. 73 million people watched the first debate in 2020 between Biden and Trump. Let's say there were 1,000 people in the audience. Those 1,000 people, of course, do not follow the rules. You're not supposed to clap. You're not supposed to boo. You're not supposed to cheer. You're not supposed to jeer, blah, 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 blah. But inevitably they do, of course. And inevitably, because of human nature, if you hear like after Joe Biden says something, you're like, oh, that made a lot of sense, right? Because it's human nature, right? Like you kind of want to be with the guy who seems like he's winning. It has undue influence on how people perceive the debate. The debate is a television event. It is not a live audience event. So I am thrilled beyond belief that we are not having a live audience. You know, like I said, maybe it helps Biden a little bit. I mean, you know, Trump very much plays to his audience, and a live audience, you know, like says stuff, try to get people to cheer for him. So, you know, maybe it helps Biden a little bit there. I don't think it matters that much, though. Let's see. Grumpy, in the debate, they will cut the mic when the speaker's time has expired. Let's see about that. I know that that's always the plan. They usually don't make good on that because it looks bad when you're just talking and then all of a sudden, sorry, I wasn't not talking, but you get my point. It looks bad when you do that. It looks like you're playing a heavy hand. Inevitably, both sides say, well, you're doing that more to him than you were to me, blah, 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 blah. So let's see if they do it. Maybe it's in the rules, but let's see if they actually do it. Let's see. So appreciative of your snazzy glasses. Thanks, Sherry Zimmerman. These are Zenni online glasses distributor. They were great. Grumpy Cat says, yes, it was about Maggie Haberman. I assume that's about Oberman. Whatever, man. Like, that's Keith. Keith can do Keith. Maggie is a great reporter. The idea that she's in the bag, I'm saying this again, the idea that Maggie Haberman is in the bag for Donald Trump, like, go read what she writes, people. She's written innumerable stories critical of Trump. She, along with John Swan and Charlie Savage, have written this great series of things that Donald Trump would do that are very authoritarian leaning if he becomes president again. Like, I just go read Confidence Man. It's in here somewhere. Her book about Trump. It is not a flattering portrayal. People are ridiculous. Avery Neal, I heard Maggie and her family have ties to the Trump family. I mean, her dad was a reporter at the New York Times. She's a reporter in the New York Times. Donald Trump has been a figure in New York media forever. I mean, ties, like they know each other, but so do almost everyone who's in like the New York media political complex. Like I know almost everybody in the DC political media complex, but I don't like, that doesn't influence anything. Anyway. Mizzou Chief, Keith is accusing you of both sides ism. No, I have one side. I like Maggie. I think she's a really good reporter. The idea that the New York Times or Maggie Haberman is in the bag for Donald Trump is like utterly ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous. Doug Gallagher, Ultimate East-West podcast, you and Keith Olbermann together giving it all your best. I would love to be on a podcast with Keith Olbermann. I don't think he would do it. Sean D, how are you doing, Chris? You seem more subdued today than normal. Do I? Am I more subdued? I don't know. I don't mean to be. I mean to be equally dude. Anyway, I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. I feel good. Generally speaking, things are going pretty well. Building YouTube, building some other stuff, trying to make some opportunities for myself. So I'm trying. Every little bit helps. I will tell you that. Every little bit helps. So if you can become a paid subscriber to my Substacks, please do. If you can donate me money, it's not a loan because I won't give it back. Please do. Every little bit helps. Trying to grind together a way to like be an independent content creator. It is not easy, people. If somebody says it's really easy to do this, they are lying. There is not a lot of money in it. It is really hard. So, but I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Let's see. Fina Carr, we on the West Coast know how to have fun and know how to relax. True. 100% true. I totally agree. I think you're right. Wait, I just skipped people. Sorry. So, oh gosh, here I am. Oh, people are telling me yes, it was still on. Sorry, I don't know what that was. It was like a brownout or something. Weird. Let's see. Do Phoenix Car said thought we had a glitch in the Matrix. Yes, me too. It was weird. David McLaughlin, what politically could be taken from a yes vote to unionize the Mercedes plant in Alabama? Also, thoughts on Swerve Strickland as the AEW world champion. I will admit I don't follow AEW super closely. Should I? A yes vote to unionize the Mercedes plant in Alabama. I think generally speaking, there's been a movement to, their unions have had some more success in unionizing of late than they have before. I feel like we don't talk. It's an interesting thing. I feel like we don't talk that much about unions and labor unions that much anymore. I mean, when I came into politics in the late 1990s, it was a huge part of the Democratic Party. Huge. And now it feels like less so. I don't know. Maybe I'll look into that. James Dorn. Hey, Chris, I just wanted to say that I've enjoyed your daily videos. Thank you. They're doing really well. Like we're averaging like 15,000 views, which is great because I have like 24,000 subscribers. So I feel like that's pretty good. Need to spread the word. I have to get on with other people who have big followings. I need to get on that. I've done a little bit of outreach. I'll admit I'm like a little bit, I don't know if nervous, trepidatious. I don't know if that's word, but like kind of skittish about it because I feel bad being like, hey, I have 23,000 followers and you have 2.3 million. Can you do a thing with me? I've never been good at that. I'm not a great seller. I'm a better buyer. Does that make sense? But I know I need to do it. But thank you. Let's see. Hey, Chris, this is Joseph. Hey, Chris, if Biden loses, it seems like it will largely be due to inflation, cost of living. What could Biden really do to improve his position on this issue? Inflation seems to be a global issue. Yeah, look, presidents get blamed too much when the economy's bad and they get too much credit when the economy's good. He's not the head of the Fed, right? You have a very limited ability to influence these things when you're the president of the United States. I think he has to hope. Like I was just looking at this. So the S&P 500, Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the NASDAQ 100 are all at record highs. Now the stock market is not the economy, right? That's an important thing to know. But people kind of follow the stock market. It helps perception and confidence. He just has to hope people get more confident about the state of the economy. I don't know, and he has to hope inflation comes down. Like he can only do so. There's not that much a president can do, right? But yes, you are right. If he loses, that's going to be a big, big piece of it. So, man, it's hard. Noel Fredrickson, thank you for your donation. That means a ton to me. Thank you for it. I appreciate it. Catherine Beach. This debate has to have real rules. Turn off mics when time is up and when it's the other person's turn. Otherwise, it will be a waste of time, in my opinion. Again, I forget who said, I think it was Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. Look, there are rules until the debate starts. Like, that's the problem. Like, if you're a moderator and Donald Trump is like wrapping up a point, you don't want to just be like, 30 seconds. Sorry, that's it. It's over. Because you want them to have the ability to make their points. At the same time, Donald Trump will abuse that and try to talk over Biden. And, look, I think it is much more likely it's an S show than it's not, to be totally candid. Like, I just think that that's probably where we're headed in this. Like, I mean, I could be wrong, but by the way, if you're just joining or you joined recently, ask questions in the chat. I'd love to have them. And, I'll keep going as long as I can. Let's see. Admiral Akbar, I loved your work. Hey, Chris, quick question. What do you think of Bill Barr's interview on CNN? Why was he voting for Trump? Thought you might make a video on that. Thanks. Yeah. Of all the things I don't understand, it's Bill Barr and Mitch McConnell saying that they're going to vote for Trump. Like, they're both, Bill Barr, I looked this up. Bill Barr has a net worth of $40+ million. So Bill Barr doesn't really need money. I mean, I guess you could always use more, but he doesn't need money. He's in his 70s. Like, he's probably got plenty of clients. Like, I don't know why, given that he has said that Trump is unfit to be president and he saw it up close as the attorney general, it's very weird to me that he would be for Trump. Same thing with McConnell. McConnell's 82, right? Like, his legacy is set. And he's the longest serving majority leader in the history of the Republican Party in the Senate, I believe. Like, he clearly hates Trump. Trump has attacked him. Trump has attacked his wife personally, deeply personally. I don't get it. Like tribalism, just because like I'm a Republican, Trump is the Republican nominee. I always vote for the Republican. I mean, I guess, but like if you're saying the person is unfit to do the job, how do you defend that vote? I don't get it. Elena Moon, why do people seem to think the president can change prices? That is up to the corporations to do. Government has nothing to do with the cost of groceries. It's true. I mean, I think people, like I said, you get too much blame if the economy's bad. If you're president, you get way too much credit if the economy's good. I think the economy is the thing that hits people the most every day, right? You go to the grocery store, you fill up your gas, you try to plan a vacation. So you feel it, right? Like if your money's not going as far, you feel it. And when you feel it, you're looking for somebody to blame if you feel it in a negative way. And the most obvious person to blame is not like a corporation, even though they obviously have a role in this, like Giant or Safeway or whatever. It's the president because that's the most high profile leader of the country. So yes, they get blamed for it. They also get credit when it's good, when they really haven't done all that much. But that's how people think. Grumpy Cat. Hi, Chris. Have you followed the backlash in KC Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker's commencement speech, and should anything be done? He's a private citizen. I mean, I don't agree with him. Like the whole women should be homemakers. I'm not on that train. But, you know, he's a private citizen. He can have free speech. It's not hate speech. I don't think, like, I guess if the Chiefs want to suspend him, it's a private organization, they can. I'm not a fan of it, what he said, but, he's got a right to say it, I think. Let's see. Maxwell Finer. Why has Arizona trended more blue and Florida more red? Arizona, at least in part, is because Trump has struggled with suburban whites, and Trump, generally speaking, though it's kind of turning around, has not done well with Hispanics. But that's kind of changing, which is why I think Trump's going to win Arizona. Florida, white voters have just become Republicans. There's just like there used to be like a swing white vote. They're not in Florida. It's just white voters are Republicans. Hispanic voters mostly are Democrats. Not entirely. Cubans obviously are not, but mostly are Democrats. Black voters are Democrats, but they're just more white voters. I'm dumbing it down, or I'm simplifying it a little bit, but broadly speaking, that's the case. Let's see. I talked about the Alito news. Again, go read the New York Times. There was a flag hanging upside down outside his house, which was at the time a symbol of the Stop the Steal movement. This is January 2021. He blamed his wife for it. Whether or not that's true, it doesn't matter. He's a Supreme Court justice. She's married to a Supreme Court justice. You can't have it. You can't have it. Tammy Cochran. Hi, Chris. Please consider doing a live stream during the debate similar to what I did on the State of the Union. I'm going to do that. Absolutely. I think it'll be really fun. So I'll be a little corner and we'll have the debate on, and I'll kind of chime in Mystery Science Theater 3000 style. I thought that was fun. Yeah. Quentin Harvey says, I wish we had ranked choice voting. Agree. We'd be in a better place, I think, if we had ranked choice voting. The only issue is ranked choice voting takes forever to count. It can take a while to count, and I think people are worried that people will wonder about democracy, that sort of thing. Let's see. Tammy Cochran, I will read anything Maggie Haberman writes and believe it 100%. She's a great journalist. Yeah, she's one of the best. I mean, she's one of the best. Let's see. Sorry, just going through them. Quentin Harvey. Oh, I read that one. Phil Sternestek. Vote Whig 2024. Admiral Akbar notes that the Nixon-Kennedy debate had no audience and it worked. Agree. Totally. Let's see. Jeff Hawkins, what's my take on the 11 p.m. congressional meeting last night? It just makes Congress look bad. I know people hate Marjorie Taylor Greene. They want to dunk on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Fine. I just think when you engage with Marjorie Taylor Greene, you wind up losing. Nobody benefits from that. She gets what she wants. Yeah. Just bad. Let's see. Paul Sow. Hi, Chris. Let's say Dems take the House, Senate, and presidency in 2024. What big legislation do you think they would pass? I don't think that's going to happen, but if so, I think one of the big things will be the Trump tax cuts. Remember, they come up for renewal in 2025. It's a massive amount of money. I think they will try to revoke or repeal or change them in some meaningful way. That would be, I think, the first order of business. Let's see. Craig McVitie, enjoyed you on Beg to Differ. Yeah, so I did the Beg to Differ Bulwark podcast yesterday. I guess it's up now. I'll post it on my Substack. It was great. Super fun. Love those people. Mona Charon, who was on? Mona Charon, Bill Galston, Sarah Longwell, myself, and Will Salatan. Great people. Great conversation. I love doing the Bulwarks podcast. They do really good stuff. Let's see. Paul, again, should Trump lose in 2024? What happens to MAGA afterwards? Would there be another 1-6 candidate? Could you see Trump 2028? Yes, absolutely. I could see a Trump 2028. Absolutely. 100%. I think he's going to keep running for it until he's dead. And even if he's not running for president, I think he will be the central leader in the party until he's dead, even if he loses, because he's not going to acknowledge that he lost, right? Of course not. He's Donald Trump, right? That's not what he does. So, yeah. Do I think if he loses that there will be sort of a rise of the establishment? Maybe a little bit. I still think the 2028 candidate, whether it's him or someone else, is going to be pretty Trumpy. I really do. I don't think that this change is going to reverse itself all of a sudden in the Republican Party. Andy Smith, Chris, who's your pick for the PGA this week? All right, well, I've been right a lot. I called Celtics 4-1 last week. So let me just check. I'm gonna do an updated leaderboard check on ESPN. Okay. Let's see. Well, it's certainly not going to be Tiger Woods. I need to see the broader scoreboard, people. Okay, here I am. I'm going to the broader scoreboard. I'm not going to pick anyone at the top. You know what? Give me Scheffler. From the jailhouse to the win. He's 7 under. He's 3 under today through 12. He's 2 shots off the lead. Give me Scheffler. He's the best golfer in the world. Let's see. Pierre Robert. Thank you for the pronunciation. Why did they pick a June and September date versus the 3 debates after the convention? They want a June. I think Biden wants a June debate because he needs to change the subject. He needs to change things around, and the sooner the better. I also think that if things go really bad in that June debate, there will be some talk about replacing him before the convention. And then a September debate, I think they wanted to do it before most of the voting was done. There's lots of early vote now. So I think they wanted to do it before early voting started in earnest. So that's why I think we had those two. Let's see. What else? Portal player. Yes, the economy is hurting me right now, especially in food prices. Right. I think that's it. Yeah, that happens. Stephen Williams. I still have no idea why people are not confident. Unemployment is lower over the last 6 months than the last 50 years. Inflation isn't bad now. P.S. I lived through the 70s. Yeah, I agree. We're not in a recession, right? Everyone predicted there was going to be a recession post-COVID. We're not in a recession. But grocery prices are high. The price of butter, the price of eggs, the price of milk, the price of bread, right? These things, the price of bacon. Donald Trump talks about it all the time. These things are higher. And I think that impacts people because things that used to cost you $100 at the grocery store now cost you $125 or $130 or $140. People notice that. So even though a lot of these economic indicators, as you rightly note, are better, it's still higher, I think. And that's just the reality. KM, I've been hearing a lot more about Donald John Trump and dementia. Any thoughts given his recent glitches? No, I don't. I just, this whole idea that Donald Trump has dementia is ridiculous. He doesn't. He has been saying wacky things his entire adult life. He has been taking weird tangents his entire adult life. I just don't buy it. I know liberals want to believe he has dementia or something else is wrong with him. I just don't buy it. I just don't see it. Hey, Chris, this is Olympus Ritmore. Hey, Chris, do you think Biden could flip North Carolina in this election? I do not. That, I think, is going to fall off the swing. It's kind of the 7th swing state right now. I think it's going to fall off because I just don't see it. I know Obama won it in 2008 and 2012, I think. Trump won it in 2016 and 2020. I don't see Biden carrying North Carolina. Let's see. Fox Base Alpha. Any chance do you think another Trump would run for office, whether or not Trump wins this year? Yeah, I think Donald Trump Jr. is going to run for something. I don't know what, maybe governor, maybe president. I mean, he certainly thinks he probably can be president, but yeah, for sure. Donald Trump Jr., I think, will run. I don't think Eric Trump will run. I don't think Ivanka will run. I don't think Barron will run, but I do think Donald Trump Jr. will run. And I think that is scary. Noel Fredrickson, if you like Mystery Science Theater 3000, check out Rift Tracks. Same guy still riffing on bad movies. I will. I love Mystery Science Theater 3000. My dream is always to do Mystery Science Theater 3000 on political stuff. That's what I'm trying to do. Stephen Williams, being married to an election official, I know that the actual counting of vote takes a while, 10 days, unless there's a recount, which will extend several weeks. Yes, that is definitely a thing. It takes time. Do I think Trump will be guilty? I said before, my educated guess is no, or just my guess. It's not even that educated, is no, but I don't know. Let's see. Craig McVitie, would love to hear more from you on replacing Biden in the event of a bad showing in the debate. Again, I don't think it's going to happen, but I think there would be talk of it if he was really bad in the debate and looked out of it and looked old in the June 27th debate. How would it happen? He would have to step aside. I don't think he can be pushed out. He has to step aside. Do I think that's going to happen? I do not. Will there be talk of it if Biden is really bad in this debate? Absolutely 100%. Maxwell Finer, when do I think Texas might go blue? At the presidential level? Another 15 to 20 years. Phil Reinhart, Romney won North Carolina by 2 points in 2012. Right. So Obama won it in 2008. He won North Carolina and Indiana and then lost both of them in 2012. Thank you for that clarification. Let's see. I think that's about it. I think that's it. We did it. Is it it's 46 minutes. Okay. So I went a little over. Okay. So just a little insight into what I'm doing. For any paid subscriber to my Substack, $6 a month, $60 a year, I am doing a live 30-minute Zoom call. So I'll talk to anybody who's a paid subscriber for 30 minutes via Zoom. I've done a bunch of these already. I've got 2 coming up at 2 and 2:30. So I got to go and get ready for that. But become a paid subscriber to my Substack. I'll put the links in this chat. I would love to have you. It's $6 a month, people. It's worth it. I promise. I write every single day. I do videos. I'm probably doing 2 or 3 things of content a day. It's great. Thank you for your support on this platform, on YouTube. I enjoy these live streams. As long as people are still game for them, I'm going to keep doing them. Think they're good. Spread the word. Send this to anyone you know. Tell them to come next Friday. We'll be here. All right. Keep it honest. Keep it real. Be well.